Okay, we are live now. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Marco D'Angelo and nice to meet you and welcome to Skills to Action, Startup Experience, an idea by Arthur Area. Today with me there are Viktoria Gerukh, founder and CEO of uTrigg, and Demyd Maiornykov, founder and CEO of Sekurno, two Ukrainian startups that are still doing business. Thank you for being here, my dear guest, and in such a difficult moment for you and for your friends and colleagues and families. Here we are speaking about skills in emergencies moment. So before everything, we are going to start speaking about you. Hi, Victoria. How are you? What are you doing right now, and where are you?
I'm still in Ukraine. I'm in the most western city. It's called Lviv. It has a great and amazing old architecture. And I was born and studying here for the previous 20 years of my life. But after that, I moved. And before the war, my main city was Kiev. So when the war started, I had to return to my first city where I was born. I was at least some friends there, so I was lucky because I have someone that I can ask about sharing the flat, etc. Like what I'm doing, I'm leading our startup. I'm volunteering every day, and you never know which type of help you are providing every day, whether it can be humanitarian help, like for some military shoes, or it can be food for dogs, cats, or some shelters for animals, or anything else like in medical sphere even. And also we are making social initiative that I can tell a little bit later on. And this initiative is also related to eliminating any war in our society. That's in short.
Thank you, Victoria. And hi, Demyd. What about you? I know that you are in a different situation compared to Victoria. How is going?
Just going okay as it can be. Currently, yes, I am in Amsterdam right now, but I'm actually based in right now in Lisbon. Yeah, so trying to recover and extend right now our business to European market as well from here.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell something about Sekurno, Demyd?
Yeah, sure. So we are a company that provides cybersecurity services, and basically we try to we become virtual security departments for companies, as you can say, right? So we understand that there are many issues that needs to be tackled in the organizations, and understand that it's quite hard. People don't understand how to do this. Tech companies that know what is the exact approach should be, what is the strategy in cybersecurity. So, and we provide this opportunity. We provide the service for them, and actually take care of their security, starting from being like ethical hackers when we actually check whether they have some vulnerabilities in their infrastructures, applications, and then tell them, okay, you need to fix this, you need to fix this, so nobody will be able to take advantage of it. And then, of course, in other more complicated things, when we introduce our team in the development process and basically make sure that security is integrated in all stages in the organization, in development process, in all levels. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Demyd. Victoria, what about uTrigg? What do you do?
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. uTrigg is the biggest mission that we are bringing is to build empathy between companies that providing some services or providing some products and their customers, because there's some kind of a gap that we're feeling is right here in the market and in the humanity in the most common sense. Specifically, what we do, we help marketing specialists in mostly companies that dealing with e-commerce to raise conversion with help of emotion AI. And this emotion AI, the uniqueness of it, that it doesn't need to be camera turned on or any social accounts or any other personal data from the user to be shared.
Sorry, Victoria, I think that your microphone is not working. I think that you have to check.
I will try to like this. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, we listen some like too far. You are far from the microphone or something like that.
How about like this? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will not need headphones right now. So uTrigg helping marketing specialists in e-commerce to raise conversion with help of emotion AI. And our emotion AI, like emotions of the users, are not catched by video camera, not from social accounts, and not from any other personal data. It's catched very easily just from the manner of how the users visited the browser. And it's more GDPR compliant, and it's transparent with all the pop-ups, with all explanations, in order to follow our mission. We build the empathy between companies and their customers.
Okay. Wonderful. So let's go to
Marco, just it's also interesting. If you want, I could share also that something that we have recently come up with when it comes to our why we do things the way we do, right? So this kind of mission. I really like what Victoria mentioned about it.
Simon
And
Sinek teach that. Simon Sinek teach that. Your why. Why you do that.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what we've been thinking lately, you know. And we were talking about Simon Sinek as well, of course. So because understanding why is so important. And for me personally, there is a problem with technology. The problem is that sometimes I cannot use it without worrying, you know, thinking, okay, so what might go wrong if somebody used this technology against me, or the data that technology collects, somebody uses against me. So this is my personal problem. I want to leverage it. I want to enjoy it, optimize my life, and make make it better, make it fun. But I'm afraid sometimes. I'm worried that I cannot do it because of somebody using it against me. So, and that's why what we come up with, why we do things that we do, is actually because we want to tackle this issue. We want to help people and businesses enjoy technology without worrying. So that's something also very that we have discovered recently, and that gives us a lot of inspiration. So okay, it fits perfectly in this seven Cynics idea of why.
Thank you, Demyd. And Victoria, I will give the word to you. Why?
Yeah, and the whole why is, I suppose, from our personal attitude, and it was from a long story of our previous experience when we were as during 10 years as IT development company, and we developed a lot of internet e-commerce websites. And there was like a lot of hell of work that you've done that in UI, UX, into communication with the client, in asking him or her a lot of why this unique feature should be here or bring some recommendation, etc. So building on the product. But after that, a lot of resources from the client need to be continued in order to that this e-commerce will work at the same scale as we developed it, in order to bring the same message. Because sometimes you develop a product and after that some pictures were done somewhere and bad one were replaced, some phrases were replaced, and out of the sudden it's not the same website anymore. So the whole thing is like continuation of the whole strategy of the e-commerce that we see, and that this kind of messaging, right, emotional message to e-commerce needs to be like a bridge. Here is a company, they have some message that they are not just wish that you will buy some cosmetics, but they bring you a beautiness, and their website need to bring the same beautiness all around in each message for the person. And this kind of thing that stuck in my head, like how we can get this emotional analytics out of something that is not exist. And so that was the problem that we see in the business. And other side that we have education in science. Me and my co-founder, we are chemists by education. So we dive very deeply. You can't imagine even how, like super literature review of very detailed scientific articles about how the brain is working, like biologists, chemists, etc., and get insights out of that, how specifically we can do this, like a lot of hints, a lot of already existing research that were done. And only after that, we take our hands and make AI. But that was, the smallest part of all of the whole work of the brain to understand what is the problem that you see, and it's something that you need to help magically to cover it, which specific resources you have. Like you have knowledge from science and you can read all of this math and find some real interesting things. And of course, to make something that can be used as a tool.
Okay, perfect. And okay, let's go to the core of our live streaming today. Usually, you know very well, run a startup is an art challenge itself. I remember in March, I think that Viktoria, you moved to you for a while. Okay, perfect. Usually, run a startup is an art challenge itself. I remember that in March, when all of this situation began, I was like thinking, if that happened to me, how I can do what I want to do. Basically, I work in the innovation field as you, and I hadn't any idea on how I could face that if I was in Ukraine. So my question is, how do you do that? And let's start from Viktoria.
How we deal with the whole crisis? You mean this kind of question?
Yeah, it is a big, like a huge questions that like crossing my mind from March. And
yeah, I have some kind of list of insights that I can share with you. So the first one, that was very stuck kind of feeling, and you don't know what will be next, like whether the bomb will fly into you, whether there was no future, even whether you will live for 1 hour, 1 day, etc. So this kind of not certainty, it came very deeply under your skin, very suddenly, and it's like, and you just became like a stone, and you couldn't do anything. But for entrepreneurs, there is a good thing, because as a startup, you are pushed by investors, clients, partners every time, and you have this kind of deadlines every day. I was covered with all of these things, and it gave me the strength to do this. So, how I managed to do this? First of all, I continued to remember the whole mission that we created and I shared with you. And the whole mission for me is empathy building between corporates and their customers. But also, together with mission, there is also a vision. Vision is just something even more that I wish to bring with my startup, with my baby. And vision for us is to make humanity more empathetic. So it's like client between client, company between other company, and in the vision we have some other activities in order to achieve this. But mission and vision is first step in order to have and to remember that you have a future, and that's something like a bright end of the tunnel that will every time will support you. So this is first thing. The second thing is you every time even in a peaceful period of time, even if you have some small crisis, remember that any day you can have another crisis, like something that, I don't know, you can broke the leg. It's also crisis. Some your very important employee will will not perform as you supposed to see in the previous period. Like crisis, it's for us, it's war. It's like it's super big, but just remember to think about crisis. It can happen every day. So the next thing, plan about A, B, and C that you has to cover those mission and vision with. And in order to practice these ABC plans, I have super small recommendation. If you even go to your shop, like you have your home, you have some shop where you shopping some food, even if it's super close distance, go to this shop with three different ways. Like one day you are go with one way, another day with another. So this kind of behavior will also be much more useful for you in a business when you can have all of this strategy number one, strategy number two, etc. But don't close yourself with all of these plans on the paper and on the business only, but add it into in real life as well. And the third thing, every time remember to talk with every team member of yours, because remember all about this stuck situation, when everybody will continue to share that they have no worries, that they are like everything is okay, their mental health is good, it is not okay. Every time, every person, they have something like crucial for them happen every period of time. And the bonus that I wish to share with you, like because I'm more scientific person, the whole behavior, like if you didn't have this kind of A/B plans and you have it only like created only one strategical plan for your company and only one, and you need to create this new kind of behavior, it will take 3 weeks. But during the crisis period, it will take, in average, for the person to have 2 months, because you will have mental stuck from your personality, because you have a lot of other sequences that you need to cover and emergently, and it will be also pushing you emotionally once again very hard. So start making new behavior before the crisis, because during any crisis you could be a pioneer of achieving of everything, because you will have this kind of skill. Thanks.
Victoria, thank you for the advices. And Demyd, what about you? The same question.
But could you please, repeat your question and give you more? If I may, I'd like to hear more what you would want to know exactly.
The real question was based on my experience as a startup. Is like a big problem. We can say it's not a problem, but you have to face a lot of challenges. And but when I thought about the war in Ukraine, even if I work for a startup for art in the innovation field, and I just think like Victoria explained now, was really hard to me understand how to face that situation in Ukraine. And you have the right point of view to share your vision how to face that difficult situation in your startup, I can say, okay, in your field.
I would tell you that this particular situation definitely showed me that nothing is stable. So that if you assume that we've been doing it for 2 years, 3 years, it's going fine, some things are working pretty well, and then boom. You used to think, okay, what if I've been doing it for 3 years and now it's gonna crash? So you just literally actually start feeling that this is not stable, and the only thing that you actually can do here is just accept the reality. Accept the reality that there is what is your action plan? How are you going to address the reality? Are you going to be just saying, "Oh, this is it happened to me"? Yeah, and what can I do? Just can we be talking about it? That's bad. That's bad. Or I can do actually something that would, somehow help me overcome the situation, or maybe not even overcome, but actually take full advantage of the situation. This doesn't mean that by changing the conditions they always change for worse. It also depends on how we see this, this picture, because each situation it's not objective, it's subjective. So that's why it's important here um, to be on the right side, so that would be something that would be beneficial for you as a startupper. So it is difficult, and it was difficult. I would say it was even more difficult because of the emotional overwhelming, because the first 2 weeks I could not work at all. I was very obsessed with everything that was going on, with the news. I was like a news junkie, and absorbed totally in, okay, well, what's happening, okay, each and every action. I was trying to monitor it. And then would basically at some point again you understand that, is it actually helping you address the reality, or it actually just puts you somewhere back and draws you back and holds you back, or and just it's creating an image that, oh yeah, you're learning that something is happening, but actually you're learning what do you do with this information? Nothing. So basically that was the very important moment to do. What was important thing to do was actually accept the reality, and start and from well, when once accepted, s- start creating your action plan, what to do about it. Yeah. And finding really just things that will work for you in this case. So I understand that if there are things that drain your energy a lot, like news, for example, for me it was the case. I think it was the case. It's been the case and still the case for many Ukrainians. So that they're like news junkies. They check the news way much oftener than they used to be checking it. So and I say, okay, where's my energy going? I could, be stuck at my screen for 3 hours by checking each and every update, right? Following from one source to the other source to the other source. It was crazy. And yeah, basically, what I did, basically, I found some other actions that were more beneficial for addressing the reality, and what we could do to get out of it.
Okay, thank you, Demyd. And the other question is, even for you, Demyd, sometimes let's say, teach. I'm not really a teacher. I usually try to transfer some of my competencies to the others. If you have to do that, transfer competencies, what do you think will be the skill that our generation and next generation need most? And I would ask this question, speaking about the people of your country for sure, but let's speak even about the others too, because they are in a completely different situation.
What is the most important skill nowadays?
I will say, like, I will ask you the most important skill for you that you want to teach to someone, maybe for you, but for people that now is living in Ukraine, and for people that now is living in the other part of the world, because they need maybe the same skill or a completely different skill.
I think the skill is actually to accept the reality. Maybe it sounds very, um, I don't know, too much. Like, but actually, how often do we create this image? Okay, that's going this way, and we are pretty sure about it. But is it really so? you know that's the principle that we should follow, right, all the time, to see what is the current situation. And that's also a skill, whether you can, when you do not follow only your internal guts, internal emotions, that they can get you in a totally different place, but you just stay for a bit, think of it. Okay, so what is actually happening? Like, what is my action plan? how we're going to address the reality, and we should be honest about the reality. When I say honest, is the even if it's not that pleasant, it's not that good to accept this, but the reality always will play good long term for you. So that's why I think this is one of the skills that I would be willing and learning more how to use it, and teaching others, because that's about it's about everything, I think.
Okay, thank
I
you
hope it
very
wasn't too broad. I hope it wasn't too broad, if and it was
much.
good. Yeah.
Victoria, what do you think about the skill?
Yeah, I'm 100% agree with Demyd with his answer, but I will just name the skill. It's critical thinking. The same thing, because specifically why we came up to this, like every news that you are reading, you have to understand whether it's trustworthy source, whether it's something that is in line with what other countries is doing, what other countries is not doing, what their aims, etc. And like what are opinions of external experts. Like you have to have all of this information, be prepared and read from different sources. And the whole basis why critical thinking is so important, because as I shared with you previously, I will open up some interesting social project that we are doing right now. So sorry. Volunteering is every time at the right time at the right place. So what type of the project we are doing right now? It's called Mumidis, and we help to avoid disinformation with help of emotion AI. And interesting fact that the whole project that we created made an application to Horizon 22 program, and it was at the end of previous year, and the whole preparations and even choosing us as a one of winners was even before the war was started. It was 23rd, 23 of February, and like we have small time to celebrate, and after that there was a lot of bombs, and the first one of things that we get us into reality. So disinformation even much more destructive than we even thought before. So regarding everything that you have plans before some crisis appeared, eventually when the crisis will just in front of you, you will understand whether this kind of values that you created in some past period, whether these values still with you, whether it's in line with your life in such in such times as a wartime. So this kind of parallel way that I can share with you. So this kind of project that we have as a part of our bigger vision thing to bring to humanity something more with emotion AI, and it gives us possibility to have this kind of moral state that we are not only doing business, that we are not only supporting with some food and humanitarian help, but we're also doing something to avoid any war situation, because with this platform we will educate people how to find out that they are manipulated, because it will be educational platform to in gamified way to explain what are the methods of disinformation. So that's why critical thinking is super important.
Thank you, Victoria. And what about organization? Victoria, you are both CEO of your startups. What was the challenge of lead people to reach goals in hard moments, in these hard moments?
Then it can you be the first one, so I could at least ask people whether it's super urgent.
Yeah. Demyd?
Yeah, sure. So same questions to me, yeah.
Yeah, your organization, you are CEO, you have people that believe in you, that work for you, and I don't know how hard it is.
I will tell you that it was quite, again, it was at the very beginning when the war started, it was very hard for me to think about work. Yeah. And it was hard for me to talk about work with my colleagues, with my team. But at the same time, I realized that we were still responsible before our clients, right, for the work that we perform. So that they were expecting us to be performing and to um, uh, fulfilling our commitments. So yeah, we just me and my partner we talked about it. What we can do? How can we make sure that we do not just work, but actually we also create a benefit for the country, because it was important not just to work but also give the benefit to the country. So, and we thought of a system that we're now using in our company, and it's like a program that our team members, they can suggest an organization that they want to support. So, and then we have, let's say, once in monthly voting, when actually each team member selects what organization they want to support. So they can convince each other, and tell them, we'll give more information about organization. And basically, thus we have a certain amount of money that we allocate for a certain budget for supporting different organizations. And then this money are allocated according to their votes. So if five team members, they voted for that organization, that money is proportionally allocated in proportion to the other organizations. So, and that's what we realized, that we want to do it not just now during the wartime, but also it's kind of our social responsibility. How we want to help reconstruct the country, how we want to help build powerful institutions. I'm talking about democratic institutions. Yeah, it can be even supporting organizations that are working with the rule of law. But it's in the future. Yeah, now we're working more with organizations that help evacuate people from the heavily shelled territories, or supporting some volunteers in their because they help people, the soldiers on the front line, by providing them some drones, or other equipment that they need. So yeah, basically that's what we found, what we will come up with to be able to stay motivated, to actually also understand that by working, we don't only just make money and pay taxes and make sure that the taxes are used for the company, the country reconstruction, but we can also feel our direct impact by talking to this organization, by supporting them. So that's what we decided to do it on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you, Demyd. I want to add a little bit. Feel free to don't answer to my question because it's a little bit personally and emotionally for you. I was like dealing with your employee, I see, but even with your co-founder that is in Ukraine, to be demanding with them. Of course, we're a startup, we deal with tasks and say, okay, today we are gonna take this task and take it home. But maybe they cannot do that on I was emotionally and feeling like face that.
Emotionally, it was not that it's not that easy to talk about work at all, because understanding that you are experiencing, I know what I've been experiencing. When I was, I don't know, when just the war started, the next day I went to a cafe, and my heart was literally bleeding. I just could not explain it, but I was in the cafe and my tears were running down, and I could not just hold them back. And I understand that people go through a very similar emotional, I would say, a breakdown, but it's like being the emotional state of being overwhelmed. I don't know how to talk about work right now. I didn't feel even kind of authorized. Let's put it this way, because for me it was hard. Yeah, and I can imagine that it was hard for my team as well. And the thing that was hurting me so much, that you at some point you start feeling this collective, that your community, your society that you're part of is suffering so much right now. And that's why it's not just you, it's not just it's not an individual case, but it's more a collective case. That's why it was so hard, and you could understand, uh you could be empathetic towards others. So yeah, that's why it was hard to talk about it. And that's why we're looking for ways how it would make us feel better as well, how we could talk about this, how we could start being responsible before our clients as well. Yeah, so but definitely hard.
Thank you, Demyd. And Victoria?
Yeah. So your question was from two parts. Like first one, which specific initiative we propose to employees in order to engage.
What about but if you want to talk about that, it's okay. My question was, as you are a CEO of your startup, and what are the challenges that to lead people in this situation that you face?
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever you do.
Okay. Yeah. So regarding emotional challenges, specifically, it was super hard, and how the formulation of like before war and after war changed. Before the war, like you have to do this and this task. It's like your not kind of obligation, but you have to do this in a case that you will wish to have some more interesting tasks. So even before war, we don't have such kind of rush and I don't know super hard pressure on our employees, because it's startup. It's all about bringing the inspiration, etc. And my inspiration is always, please fill these tasks in order to have a better one. So that's kind of motivation. But when the war started, no creativity is motivation anymore. The only motivation is like where they will live, whether their relatives are alive, etc. And what question I found out as a well formulation to motivate at least somehow people to work, I said them like, for instance, like Danny, Peter, like specifically to each of them, I was texting and said, is the work is the way for you to handle with moral state that you have right now? If it's not, like you're free to you're not working at all if you wish. Your place will be for you, because we have a lot of things to do. And I was more like making some kind of more reports to them than asking them to bring reports to me. So in this case, they see that I'm doing like hell of work. I'm volunteering. Sometimes I can make meetings with a lot of crying just in front of the camera, because I understand that I have like zero energy, but I need to share what I've already done. So sometimes I get very crazy regarding my emotions, and maybe it helps some people to share with their emotions, because at the first weeks it was always stuck and some silence from their side, and they was like, why she's so wild with sharing so many information about the business, so many information about emotions, asking us so many questions as never before. So I was like, for me, CEO is a person like a mixture device. So there is a lot of people, they are sitting there doing some kind of work, but if you feel that they are stuck at some point, you need to be very active in order to mix all of this mixture, so it could become boiled or like whatever you need to do. So I do manage with that in a such way. So I'm became even more proactive that I was even before the war. That's
Thank you, Victoria. And the other question is a little bit personally too. And what is your daily life now? How you manage your daily life?
yeah. Regarding daily life, I can, I suppose, repeat the same, that we are doing the startup, we are volunteering, we are doing the social project. But what additionally I can share with you, I also try to find new types of inspiration that I find I find valuable many years ago. Like in school, in early ages, I was reading a lot of books, so I was eating them. Like I can sit with, I don't know, 400 of pages, and I could like read all of the pages, understand everything. So it was a time that I have time, and I was full of curiosity. But during this startup, when you have to, read something, test something, do a lot of things, I have like super small time to read books. But right now, even with doing all of these three things, uh, we bought several books already that I started reading. So for me, regarding some kind of personal moving forward, that I return to some kind of habits that I already forgotten for like decades ago. So maybe that's the answer to your question. It's like my
Okay.
personality.
Thank you, Victoria. And Demyd, same question for you. And and I'm pretty sure that you read news like only a little bit at day. I understand.
Yeah, definitely. That's like a rule right now, right? To check the news at specific timing, and yeah, but limit basically it's consumption, the information consumption in general, because I feel how again the energy draws from you, stop, and the energy disappears. So that's that one of the things that helped a lot. So they changed a lot. The other things I think, uh, again, as I mentioned before about the accepting the reality, I think it just gave you a notion that nothing is stable, and it's still this feeling is still in the now in the foundation of what you do, and you could feel already how everything seemed to you be so stable, at some point becomes very shattered. So and this principle now is everywhere, I think. Like, what if this happens? So like, what our approach? So what is that, do we have an action plan for worst case scenario? Yeah. So basically this gives you some new approach to how you yeah, not only treat your company's life, but also how you treat your personal life as well. So
Okay.
that's broadly speaking.
Thank you, Demi. And connected to that, what do you think about your future? This is the hardest question that I can make.
What?
What do you think about your future? Your as
What
Demi,
do you
then
think?
Sekurno too.
What do I think about my future? Uh, I think that it's going to be the way that it again, it all comes down to how realistic I would be, right? So but I'm definitely sure that we want to feel, I want to feel the impact that I can have, not just economically or yeah, not just economically, but I really want to feel what kind of impact we have socially, and direct impact. So I think right now we get more and more companies that they're based on values. At least they're looking for them. It's not enough for us. It's not enough for me to do something because I want to make money, right? So this is a new generation. I do recycling not because I'm asked to do recycling. it just doesn't feel right if I don't do it. And I cannot do anything. I feel bad if I don't do it. I feel bad when I make money if I don't believe in it. So, by answering your question, what would be your future? I think the future is the best future I can imagine in my life. Is when I do things that I believe in, and I keep updating them because they change. Some things that inspire you, they change. So you need to be up to date. But definitely in that future, still there is the values that we right now use, and the impact that you want to feel. That's going to be part of the future.
Thank you, Demyd. And Victoria, there are questions even for you.
I'm more than can I can even less support Demyd here, because for me it's also the whole important thing is whether your company bringing some impact, and it should be inspired also by the whole members of your team. Because inspiration, it's all about daily routine, so they will wake up during their remote crazy days, whatever in which country, in which city they are, start their work, and it will be consciously from their side, not me like pushing somewhere in messages, finding them, they are hiding, like not doing in this way, because it's nonsense. It's not stable scheme, it's not stable device for me as a business. So it should be understand which specific inspirations they find in the impact that our company is doing, and only what do these puzzles, the whole mechanism of working, of committing to, I will do this task because I understand that it will be done together with this colleague in some functionality, and this functionality will eventually help this business, these clients to make this kind of impact. So only this correlation.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. I really finished my question, and I want to give to you, starting from Victoria, some space if you want to share something to our public. If you have something I didn't ask you, maybe, but you want to share with us.
Yeah, regarding sharing, we are, as I shared with you before, we are this kind of startup that we have scientific education and we have AI in our core. And every time we think about making like that more people will join our mission, and based on that, we made another initiative that it's just filling a survey with any people, mostly Ukrainians, Europeans, USA citizens, and those are questions about how you consume the different sources of information. How Demyd was sharing that it's the bad habit, but in order to see which type of the habit different nations have, it's very interesting for us to see, and also have it from time to time in order to see the trend. And also, as our survey is because in our tool we have several products. One of emotion AI usage is tracking code for any e-commerce, but also we have a survey builder. And with this survey builder, we grasp emotional state. So while we are asking which types of different news you are reading, we also catch emotional state of the users. And they can see for their own understanding of their emotional changes during the period of time, whether it's like declining, whether it's growing, and on the base of which specific question. And eventually we will make scientific articles. It will be in popular language. It will be also in deep scientific language. So there will be different types of that. So if anyone wishes to join to this kind of community-driven scientific work on the base of destroying the disinformation in such very easy to achieve way as just filling a survey and understand about yourself something more, please join to find me in LinkedIn, and I will share more information and the whole answer to any questions of yours. Because I wish to have it scientifically driven, but with the common people, not just scientists, but everyone can join and share their attitude to what is going wrong and how emotions are connected to this information in order to break this kind of thing and make our society more democratic. That's the biggest thing that we wish.
We will be really proud to help you, Viktoria. Demyd, do you want to share something else with us without questions in this case?
I think all the things that we have talked about here actually again was something that maybe Simon Sinek discussed, right, in his book or his TED talk. So we here talk about the startups, we talk about challenges and what are they, how to overcome them. But in reality, the one of the things that we need to just keep in mind is that if we know why we do it, we will be able to bear anyhow. So, and this is not only what Simon Sinek said, right? It's in philosophies. If I'm mistaken, Nietzsche said that this. Though I'm not sure, but I think it was him. So that's the thing. If we want, just we do startup. It's so good if you actually understand why you do it. And as again I mentioned before, you need to keep up to date. Because you change. During your startup, as a personality, you change. Your values change. You start to strive for other things that there's not maybe not values, but things that inspire you. So and things that resonate you. So and for that you need to have time with yourself. So how often do you spend time with yourself and asking yourself a question: what do I want in my life? Why I'm doing this? What I'm doing? And by having these seem to be simple answers, asking yourself simple questions, you'll come back to a very complicated answers. Yeah. So and I think this is the only reason why I would do a startup. If I don't just want to do a startup because somebody does, or because I want to be a rich person, and they have this image. Oh yeah, like run a business, you can become a billionaire. But it's not like that. You can, like, the first time you can actually have no money at all, and then you're doing it because you believe in it. Yeah, so that's the main thing I think that I would like to share. And never, I know, no, don't want to forget about it, never, because that's the fundamental for any startupper, I think.
Demi, I'm pretty agree with you. And one of the competencies that I share usually with the people is the golden circle of Simon Sinek and the why.
Yeah.
I believe in that. And one of the meaning that we are here today, because I really believe in my why, that is sharing to people what I do in my life. And I love that. And that's my why, is sharing in that case.
Yeah.
I really want to say thank you to you, Viktoria and Demyd. Really thank you to being here. And really thank you for all the people that will see us on social network. We will have another appointment. The next one will have 2 new guests that we are going to speak about crowdfunding in time of emergency. The 2 new guests will be Mediterranean to the border. Next week, 1 June at 5 p.m. And I'm really say another one. Thank you to you. Thank you, and
Grazie.
we will get in touch for sure.
Sure. Thank you, Marco. Ciao.
Bye bye bye. Ciao.